Greetings, students. This is Dr. Nguyen giving you additional support so you can remember what you learn and apply what you learn in different situations. Okay, so in the past 2 weeks, well, today will be our second week. So in the past several days, last week, including this week, and move on to next week, we have learned these words. So it is important that you know how to spell words, because let's say later on in life, you might have to write a paper check or maybe an electronic check. You have to know how to spell certain numbers, certain words. So it depends on the situation. So it is imperative that you know how to spell and be able to use these words in different situations in your everyday life. So the first word here is called inquiry, or inquiry. Number 2, inquire. Number 3, reflect. Number 4, re-flec-tion. Number 5, change. Number 6, infer. Number 7, inferring. Number 8, inference. The E here is silent. Inference. Number 9, quote. Number 10, quoting. Or sometimes people may pronounce quoting. One more time. Inquire. Inquiry or inquiry. Number 2, inquire. Number 3, re-flect. 4, re-flec-tion. 5, change. 6, infer. 7, inferring. Number 8, inference. Number 9, quote. Number 10, quoting or quoting. Again, your chance. Let's practice it. Say the word silently. Inquire, inquiry or inquiry. Number 2, inquire. Number 3, reflect. Number 4, re-flec-tion. Number 5, change, 1 syllable. Number 6, infer, 2 syllable. Number 7, inferring, 3 syllables. Number 8, inference, 2 syllable. Number 9, quote, 1 syllable. Number 10, quoting or quoting, 2 syllables. Then we have learned about these different vocabularies. So these are our academic vocabularies that we have discussed about the contents that we have learned in class. The first one is compare. When you compare, which is a verb, to show how some things, how people, how ideas, how things are similar or almost the same. You are a student. I am a teacher. How are we the same? We are both human. So because we are humans, we are similar. That is compare. You are a student. I'm a teacher. How are we different? So when we contrast, because you are a student, I am a teacher. So that's a contrast. Text structure. So let's say you are a writer, a composer, an author. And when you write, you want to organize your thought. You want to organize the way you want to present your information. So you use a structure. In academic, we call text structure, because text is the actual word in a story or in a narrative. Okay, so text structure, you can use cause and effect, you can use problem and solution, you can use description, you can use explain, you can use there are 5 of them. So this is a different way to present information. So we call text structure again, cause and effect, problem and solution, description, explain, and even chronology related with time. So what is chronology? Chronology is how things happen in order according to time. ICS begins instruction at 8:30. Then we move on into our morning work. We move into our special at 9:18. And then we come back for the first intervention. Then we have math. After that, we have recess about 9:45. And then we go to lunch at around 2:25. We wrap them up. And about 2:30, you are ready to go home. Those are some sequential events that happen in order according to time. We call this chronology. In the same manner, World War II began in September 1939, and then 1941. Even though the U.S. wanted to remain neutral, but they were involved into World War II because Japan attacked them. So they had to make a plan to retaliate. And in 1945, World War II ended after Japan's surrender due to the impact of the atomic bomb dropped by the United States of America. So that is called chronology, events that happen according to time. Then you have fractional. So let's say you bought a cake. You cut the cake into different parts. Let's say you cut the cake into 5 different parts. You eat one. That's a fractional part of the whole entire cake. Fractional, part of a whole. Narrative, a narrative. So a narrative is a story, either spoken or written account. So let's say you come up with a story, you tell someone else to listen to. That's your narrative. That's your written account. So a narrative can be fictional or non-fictional. Fictional means what? Not real. Non-fictional, real. So a narrative can also be historical. Like I was reading a narrative of the bluest eye, the narrative of native son, the narrative of many different stories that I forgot, but these are the 2 texts that I just finished reading. So you can find interesting story, interesting narrative to read whenever you have time and to keep you busy. So narrative means story, written account, whether it's written down or it can be orally spoken. So narrative. Homographs. Homographs are words that have the same exact spelling, maybe pronounced a little bit different, but they have different meanings. So for example, I saw you every day last week. I used a saw to cut woods. So SAW. So that word has multiple meaning. Volume. If I say turn down your volume, it can mean the sound, the loudness of your mouth or your voice or your radio. Let's say I have a box and the box can hold so much things inside. That would also be the volume. So volume can also mean quantity or how much mass something can be hold. So that's volume. Okay, so that's a homograph. Convert. We have learned about how to change fraction into a mixed number or into the improper fraction, vice versa. We learn about chemical change. We learn about physical change, how one thing can change into another thing. So for example, when we talk about physical change, you have ice. Ice can become liquid. Ice can become vapor or gas. So it's gone to different state of matter. So that's convert. Convert means to change. Again, volume. Volume can mean the degree of loudness, the amount of space or mass. Volume has different meanings. So volume here is a homograph. Nucleus. Nucleus. The nucleus, we are learning about the cell. So whether it's animal cell or plant cell. So cell has the brain. The brain is the nucleus. And the nucleus tell the other organs what needs to be done. So compare, contrast, text structure, chronology, fractional, narrative, homographs, convert, volume, nucleus. So now let's see if you can practice. So I want you to unscramble. Unscramble means these words are spelled wrong. Your job is to go back to these lists here and see if you can unscramble. Okay? So I'm going to give you a minute to unscramble these words. Okay. So you can pause the video and to work on it. Okay, so the first one should be quoting. Q-U-O-T-I-N-G. Next one, inference. Remember, this E here is silent. Inference. I-N-F-E-R-E-N-C-E. Inference. Here, change. C-H-A-N-G-E. Here, re-flect. Re-flect. R-E-F-L-E-C-T. E-flect. In-quire. In-quire. I-N-Q-U-I-R-E. Quote. Quote. Q-U-O-T-E. So see if you can use these spelling words in context. They blank about a man sitting on a bench at the park because they wonder why he is there. Wonder. The key word here is wonder. So if you have, next one, you had and blank about animal and plant cells. So you did a research about them. So if you put inquire, because you need a verb, this is your subject, this is your verb. Here you had what? This is your subject, this is your verb. You had an inquiry, so you're looking for a noun. So if you get all of these correct, congratulations. Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, so these are our vocabulary words. See if you can put them in the blank. Number one, the blank controls and regulates the activities of the cell. Dr. Nguyen asked the students to turn down their blank because they were a little loud during a group discussion. The box has a great volume. Please turn down your volume. The word volume is a blank because it has multiple meanings. How a writer organizes the ideas in a piece of writing is called which includes cause and effect, problem solution, description, chronology, compare, contrast, and process, which is to explain what to do. World War II started in 1939. Germany invaded Norway in 1940. The United States plunged into World War II. And that happened in 1941. The US dropped atomic bombs in Japan in 1945. World War II ended in 1945. So this is a brief blank of World War II. So what word you can put here? Pay attention to the context clue. I'm going to get, so pause the video and work it out. When you finish, resume the video. So number 1, control is the nucleus. Number 2, turn down the volume. Number 3, homograph, because you have multiple meaning. Number 4, text structure. Number 5, chronology. Did you have all 5? Great. Now, as you can see here, these are the 2 models of cell. The animal cell is round, look like an egg. So this is the animal cell here. That's the animal cell. Okay. And on this side, this is the plant cell. So as you can see here, the plant cell is rectangular, whereas the animal cell is look like an oval shape or an egg. And so as you can see here, this is the nucleus. So the nucleus is here. That's the nucleus. Inside the nucleus is called the nucleolus. So again, this is the nucleus, this is the nucleolus. The only different, well, they might be the same, but they are different. Plant cells have a cell wall and a cell membrane to protect them, but animal cell doesn't have the cell wall. Animal cell have the cell membrane. So the cell membrane is the outer. It's like the skin. Because animal cell, like animal live, plant cell live in the wild, and they need extra protective layer. So they need a cell wall, and then next is called the cell membrane. So each one of these, centrosome, cytoplasm, rough ER, these are organelle. These are organelle. Each of these called organelle. So each organelle has a particular function to do the work. So in order to do the work, they need to make sure that someone is telling them what to do, which is called the nucleus. So the nucleus is important. It's like the brain of the cell. Then we're talking about fractions. So what is fraction? Fraction is a part of a whole number. So you can see here, this is 1. That's a whole number. This is 4 over 4. 4 over 4 gives you a whole. So 4 over 4 is a fraction. So 9, what is 9? Whole number. What is the 4? If you say fraction, you sound around the applause. So remember, a whole number like 9 can be a fraction of 9 over 1 because 1 is always invisible. So when you have 10, 10 is the same thing as 10 over 1. This right here is invisible. So when you have 21, it's technically 21 over 1. So this one right here is always invisible. So 9 over 1, as you can see there. So a fraction has 2 parts, 2 numbers, which is the 3 here. The 3 is called the numerator, This is on the top, and the bottom is called the denominator. So 3 is numerator, 5 is called the denominator. So now, you have 3 different set of numbers. The first one here is called the proper fraction. The reason why it's proper, because 3 is smaller than 5. Okay? Over here, this is called the improper fraction. Why? Because the 9 is bigger than the 4. If the numerator is less than the denominator, then it's the proper. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator, then you have a proper fraction. Now, the next number here is, look, this is called a mixed number. The reason why it's mixed, because you have a whole number and a fractional part. So two types of number come together, makes a mixed number. So can you identify these fractions? 7/8, 2 3/5, 5/3. Pause the video and look at the example, trying to identify. So if you say 7/8 is proper, you are right, because the numerator here is smaller than the denominator. Here you have a mixed number, because you have a whole number and a fraction, so that you make it a mixed number. Next one, you have 5/3. 5 is the improper fraction, because 5 is the numerator, which is larger than the denominator. So this one right here is called the proper fraction, the improper fraction. Okay, so we've been learned how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. So you have 3/4/5. So to do this, you're going to take 3 times 5 plus 4. See? 3 times 5 plus 4. So 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. 19/5. This 5 doesn't change. So that's how you change a mixed number to the improper fraction. Now let's see if you can do this. So you are going to change 2 3/5 to the improper fraction. This is a mixed number. Change them to this format. Change them to this format. That's the improper fraction. So you have a mixed number, change to the improper fraction. So what you do is you have to multiply 2 times 5 plus 3. So 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3, which is 13/5. See? This number is when you plus, this number is when you time these together. This number doesn't change when you change to the improper fraction. The denominator doesn't change. Okay, so let's see if you know how to do this by yourself. Change mixed number 2 1/4 to the improper fraction. Pause the video so you can know what to do. So you have 2 1/4. So 2 1/4, you take 2 times 4. What is 2 times 4? If you say 8, you're correct. Now plus 1. What is 8 plus 1? 9. 9/4, because the 4 doesn't change. Okay, so that's how you change mixed number to the improper fraction. Now let's say you have an improper fraction. How do you change it to a mixed number? So as you can see here, you have an improper fraction. To change this to a mixed number, you have to divide. You have to take 34 divided by 8. What times 8 34? So 8 times 4, which is 32. And 34 take away 32 is 2. This is your remainder. This is your quotient. So you write your quotient here, which is 4 correct. And your remainder, which is 2 and 8. So 4 and 2, 8. Now, the thing doesn't ask you to simplify. Simplify means to make smaller. So because 2 and 8 are even number, you divide this by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So don't forget to keep this number in perspective. So 4 and 1/4 is the same thing as 4 and 2, 8. So how do you know it's 1/4? It's the same as 2 over 8. If you cross multiply, you're right. 1 times 8 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. And 8 is equal to 8. So again, in order to change an improper fraction to a mixed number, you have to take 34 divided by 8. So now you have 7 over 3. This right here is called the improper fraction. Why? You are right. If the numerator is greater than the denominator. So go ahead and divide. So you have 7 over 3, which is improper fraction. You're going to have to divide. You take 3 divided by 7, which is 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 take away 6 is 1. So this number right here is your remainder. This number is your quotient. 3 doesn't change. So in order to change an improper fraction to a mixed number, you have to divide. All right, do this by yourself. Change 15 over 7 to a mixed number. So what do you have to do? If you say divide, you are so right. So I'm going to take 15 here. I'm going to set it up like that. Divided by 7. What times 7 give you 15 or closest to 15? So if you say 2, 2 times 7 is 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. Okay? So 1 is your remainder. Let me go back. Pardon me. So again, we were over here. So you take 17 divided by 15 divided by 7, which is 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. This go right here. This 7 doesn't change. And the quotient is 2. So that's how you change an improper fraction to a mixed number, by dividing. Now, multiplied fraction is easy. You basically take the numerator, multiply the denominator, 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, then 4 times 5, which is 20. So when you have 20 over 6, you always simplify. So to simplify means you're going to reduce, you're going to make smaller. So because 20 and 6, they both even number, you can divide them by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So that's your answer in simplest form, because then you cannot make 3 smaller with 10. Now do this by yourself. 3 over 4 times 4 over 6. So again, you have the problem. Follow the second step here. Take the numerator, multiply together. Take the denominator, multiply together. So as you can see here, 3 times 4. So in the problem, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 6 is 24. Half of 24 is 1/2. That's why your answer is 1/2. All right, so what if you have a fraction and a whole number? So again, you're gonna keep this, change 3 over 3 to 3 over 1 because this is already invisible. You're gonna use that as your placeholder. So you can take the numerator 2 times 3 and the denominator 7 times 1, which is 6 over 7. Is this proper or improper? If you say improper, you are right. Why? Because the top number is smaller than the denominator. So 5 times 8 over 10. So if you put 5 times 8 over 10, take 5 over 1. This one is invisible. Times 8 over 10. Take the numerator. Take this times this. So 5 times 8, which equal to 40. Then you take 1 times 10. 1 times 10. 1 times 10. Which is 10. Okay? So you can cross out the 0. 4 divided by 1, which is 4. So your answer is 4. Now, then we talk about dividing fraction. So you have to keep in mind, chicken, KCF. Instead of KFC, we do KCF. Keep, change, flip. You keep 3/4, change the division to time, then flip 2 over 7. 2 over 7 is called the reciprocal when you flip. So if I have 1/4, the reciprocal of 1/4 would be 4 over 1 when you change like that. Now, do this for me. 1/2 divide 1/4. Keep, change, flip. So you keep 1/2, change the division to time, flip 1/4 to 4th 1. This is your reciprocal. So if you have 3 over 2 and you have to change. So the change or reciprocal of 3/2 would be 2/3. That's reciprocal. So what's 1 times 4? 4. 2 times 1? 2. So the answer is 2/4, which is 2. 2 whole number. Do this by yourself. 4 over 11 divided by 5 over 9. KCF. Keep, change, flip. So you keep. There you keep. Apologize. So you keep 4 and 11. You change this. Then you take 4 times 9, which is 36. 5 times 11, which is 55. So you have 36 over 55. So is that an improper fraction or proper fraction? So if you say proper fraction, you are correct. Why? Because the numerator here is smaller than the denominator. So I hope you have remembered what you have learned. And this is Dr. Nguyen.